Chosen one, listen carefully. Heaven has pressed pause on the noise around you because this Monday is not ordinary time. It is an appointment written before you were born. You are not like the rest. You do not blend into the crowd. You carry a mark that makes darkness nervous and draws favor others cannot explain. You have walked through nights that tried to swallow your name, through misunderstandings that tried to repaint your kindness as weakness, through doors that seemed welded shut. Yet you are still here, breathing, aware, expectant. That is not coincidence. This is divine intervention. You are being summoned to stand in the hour when the page turns, when the calendar becomes a courtroom, when your yes crosses a threshold and history records it. Monday will not just be another day. Monday will make history in your life. Every delay that mocked you, every cycle that spun you in circles, every whisper that said maybe next time we'll face judgment. You did not stumble into this moment by algorithm or chance. You are an earth angel on assignment, assigned to your generation. The oil on your life is no accident. The resistance you faced was not random. The warfare was a confirmation of the weight you carry. You felt it in your bones like a quiet hum under the skin that heaven has been stalking you with mercy, refusing to let you drown in the ordinary. And now the call comes again, rise, to stand and answer. Your obedience is the key that will turn this Monday into a headline in heaven. Hear me, you are not trying to prove your worth, you are aligning with purpose. When you choose obedience, windows open that walls cannot resist. Doors that were never meant for you will close without drama. And doors that carry your name will swing wide with quiet authority. This is what happens when a chosen one stops auditioning and starts reigning in their assignment. Your steps become sentences in a book God is writing with your life. Your voice carries a weight it did not have last season. Your presence interrupts the plans of darkness simply by standing in light. As was spoken in the sacred texts of old, the ancient words recorded in Isaiah, chapter 41, verse 10, "Fear not, I am with you. Be not dismayed, I am your God. I will strengthen and help you, upheld by my righteous right hand." Let this sentence become your spine. Let it breathe into your lungs. Let it sit in your bones until fear has no room to rent. You are not entering Monday alone. You are escorted by presence. You are accompanied by purpose. You are surrounded by promises that do not expire. You have stayed faithful when no one clapped. You have carried more than most without making a scene. You have chosen kindness when bitterness had evidence. You have given when your hands were nearly empty, believing that the God who sees in secret would repay openly. That ledger is opening. The scales are tipping. The seed is remembering its instruction to become. This is not hype. This is an unveiling. Something ancient in you, older than your failures, older than your family story, begins to wake. Stretch and stand upright. Your spirit knows this sound. It is the sound of a door unlocking. The sound of your name being called into rooms your feet have not entered yet. This Monday, small obediences will unlock large gates, a call you must make, a step you must take, a conversation you must end, a document you must send, a boundary you must draw. You will not negotiate with your future. You will not dim to keep familiar company. You will not waste one more sunrise apologizing for the brilliance God planted in you on purpose. You will not trade your crown for comfort. You will move with quiet boldness, measured pace, and holy precision. The right people will recognize you. The wrong ones will remove themselves. Let them. You are not losing, you are lightening the ship for acceleration. Where you have felt fog, clarity will land. Where you have felt weak, strength will rise. Where you have felt forgotten, recognition will find you without striving. You will step into flow, not force, into favor. Not flattery, into stewardship. Not stress. You will know what to say and when to be silent. You will discern what to pick up and what to lay down. You will sense the difference between a distraction and a destiny door. And you will walk head up, heart clean, hands ready. Listen, mercy has pursued you, and now mandate meets you. You are one act of obedience away from a different storyline, not because you earn God's love, but because alignment multiplies grace. The winds change for those who listen. The ground opens for those who plant. The river makes a way for those who step. You are stepping. You are answering. You are saying yes with your life. Not just your lips. Heaven hears it. Hell fears it. History feels it. So here is your moment of agreement. If this speaks to your spirit, like this message, share it with one person who needs courage, and subscribe to stay connected to the flow that will guide you through this week. Then seal it with your voice, and your fingers type your agreement as a sign that you choose obedience over delay. Comment 777 to seal it. Before morning spills its first light, you stand in the kind of quiet that knows your name. You have become fluent in midnight, its long corridors, its low hum, its mirrors that show you honesty without makeup. Others see a sleepless night. Heaven sees a watchman. You are not abandoned in these hours. You are apprenticed. In the dark, the muscles of trust learn their work. In the hush, your heart listens beyond noise and notices the subtle shift where panic ends and presence begins. You have met the ambushes that masquerade as thoughts. A stray worry wears your voice like a mask. A memory pretends to be prophecy. A past failure offers to narrate your future. But repetition has taught you the terrain. You can now tell the difference between your conscience clearing its throat and condemnation trying to rehearse its script. You no longer rent your mind to every traveler. You require identification. Who sent you becomes your internal question. If the answer is theft, death, or destruction, you escort it to the door. Midnight taught you the economy of breath. You inhale slow, counting kindness, and exhale what weighs more than its worth. You have learned the dignity of small rituals, a glass of water on the nightstand, a notebook ready to catch the instruction that arrives in fragments, a whispered song when the silence runs too loud. You honor your body with rest when it comes, and with gentleness when it doesn't. There is no performance here, only presence. You are unlearning the superstition that anxiety is a sign of responsibility. Peace carries more weight than worry ever did. There were nights you thought you lost ground, but in truth you gained mastery. You discovered the power of replacing endless rumination with precise prayer. You named the ache without making it a home. You told the truth about fatigue and let it be information instead of identity. You forgave what yesterday could not afford to fix. And the room shifted, not because the circumstances changed, but because you chose what to magnify. The dark is not a verdict. It is a veil through which dawn rehearses its entrance. Here, let a sentence older than sleeplessness steady your pulse. We are reminded through the writings in the book of Psalms. Chapter 121, verse 4. He who watches over Israel will neither slumber nor sleep. The point is not that you must be tireless. The point is that God is. Your keeper does not nod off at the wheel. You are not sustaining yourself by grit through the night. You are being sustained by a vigilance that outlasts every hour. You may rest because he does not. In the quiet, you practice a clean audit of thoughts. Which ones leave you stronger, kinder, clearer? Which ones leave you smaller, meaner? Fogged, you quarantine the latter and feed the former. You choose sentences that build scaffolding for morning. I will show up. I will move gently and precisely. I will not borrow trouble from hours that do not belong to me. These are not slogans, they are settings. They tune the instrument of your day before it plays a note. You also let grief sit when it knocks. Not all tears are the enemy. Some tears wash dust from the path. Some relieve pressure that was never meant to be stored. You give sadness a chair and a time limit. You bless it for the truths it tells. And you usher it out when it tries to take the whole house. Maturity is not the absence of feeling, it is the leadership of feeling. You've begun to spot the counterfeits that visit at 2 a.m. The solutions that sell you shortcuts. They promise relief, but invoice your peace. You recognize them now by their speed and secrecy. Wisdom knocks in daylight, folly hisses in corners. So you wait. Postponed impulse is not weakness, it is worship. You decide in the morning what midnight tried to decide for you. And as grey becomes gold at the window, the hidden victory takes form. Your pulse is calmer. Your language is cleaner. The coming hours feel less like a cliff and more like a climb you have trained for. You tie your laces spirit first. Then, schedule. You do not need to announce it to the world. The world will notice anyway. People will not know why rooms feel safer when you enter. It is because you carried dawn inside. Let it be recorded the night did not devour you. It discipled you. You learned to bless what is in reach and release what is not. You learned that attention is authority, that what you stare at grows teeth or wings. You chose wings. And as Monday approaches, it will find you not exhausted by the dark, but equipped by it, eyes clear, heart quiet, hands ready for the work that daylight makes possible. Listen, God's chosen one, this is a spiritual emergency. Heaven is stepping into your timeline, interrupting the loop that almost swallowed you whole. You are at a razor's edge decision point, and the next minutes matter more than the last months. Don't do it, no matter the price. Don't drift into the old conversation that always ends in compromise. Don't sign the agreement your spirit keeps rejecting. Don't text back what your peace won't co-sign. This is not coincidence. This is divine intervention, an arresting of patterns, a holy interception of choices that would write sorrow into your Monday. The alarms are not anxiety, they are mercy. The pressure you feel is not punishment, it is the weight of glory trying to break through the crust of habit. You have felt it building subtle, then sharp, a nudge in your chest, a sentence that wouldn't leave, dreams that reassembled your waking life into symbols. You started seeing confirmation in random sentences, overheard phrases, even billboards. The spirit is not stuttering, he is surrounding you. You are not being paranoid, you are being pursued. You are one rebellion away from blindness, but you are also one yes away from sight, so clear it will feel like the room turned its lights on at once. Mercy has been patient. But mercy is not permission. There comes a point where delay becomes disobedience, and disobedience becomes a door for darkness to rent your future at a discount. You know the location of that door. You've stood there before, hand on the knob, telling yourself you'll only peak. But partial obedience is a pretty name for rebellion, and rebellion always taxes you later with interest. This time, you refuse the debt. This time, you see through the bait. This time, you call it what it is, a counterfeit path that can't carry the weight of your calling. Heaven speaks clearly through the words in Deuteronomy. Heaven speaks clearly through the words in Deuteronomy. Chapter 30, verse 19. I have set before you life and death, blessings and curses. Now choose life, so that you and your children may live. Feel the gravity of that choice. Choices are not isolated, they are architects. They draft blueprints your feet will follow. They either frame a sanctuary or a snare. Today, your yes is not just about you, it is an inheritance decision. It is about the names that will one day call you ancestor and live inside the echo of this moment. Slow down. Breathe. Let your heart unclench. The enemy wants your hurry more than your sin, because hurry blinds you to exits God already provided. There is always a way of escape. The door might be humility, confess, cancel, walk away. It might be clarity, write the plan, send the email, set the boundary. It might be courage, make the call you dread and end what drains you. It will cost you comfort, but it will purchase freedom. You have prayed for open doors. Now heaven is asking for open hands. Release what you cannot carry and receive what you cannot lose. This is the hour to choose the narrow road, the one that doesn't flatter your ego, but feeds your spirit. The one where your future self thanks your present self for being brave. Do not romanticize struggle you were never assigned to. Do not call a cage commitment. Do not decorate what God is demolishing. If you sense God pressing on that one thing, yes, that one, answer him quickly. Postponed obedience matures into regret. The longer you stand at the threshold, the louder the counteroffers become. You know this pattern. Break it now. You are not weak, you are being weighed. And you are about to be found faithful. Let holy fear do its healing work. Let hope keep you from despair. Let glory lift your chin. You were crafted for decisive moments. You were built to be a hinge that swings history. Now take one simple, prophetic action in the comments to anchor your will in obedience. Type I obey now. It's 3 words. But it's a covenant, a way of signing today's choice with public ink. Not for applause, not for performance, but as a line in the sand that your future self can point back to when the winds try to rewrite your memory. Write it, mean it, and then move in alignment. Let your calendar agree with your confession. Let your contacts list agree with your confession. Let your browser history, your budget, your bedtime, your boundaries, all of it agree with your confession. This is not the moment to negotiate with darkness. This is the moment to close the door gently, lock it, and slip the key into the river. You are stepping out of the loop and into the lane. You are choosing life fully, loudly, without apology. And Monday will mark the first sunrise of that freedom. You feel it before anyone names it, the quiet difference that will not let you blend. You have tried to edit yourself small to fit into rooms that loved your usefulness more than your essence. You smiled, nodded, softened edges, translated your fire into a polite candle. Yet even then, the air shifted when you walked in. Conversations redirected, motives surfaced. Some people were drawn to you without knowing why. Others withdrew as if your presence exposed the fine print of their intentions. You wondered if it was your fault, if you were too much, too intense, too focused. But heaven calls it something else, set apart. Rejection has been a rough tutor, but not a wasted one. It shaved away your addiction to approval. It taught you how to grieve without shrinking, how to bless without bargaining, how to love without losing yourself. The empty chair at your table, the message left unread, the invitation that never arrived, these were chisels shaping your capacity for holy assignments. The loneliness that once threatened to drown you became solitude that trained you to hear. The misunderstanding that once felt like a verdict became a veil God used to hide you until your time. You are not unchosen, you are reserved. Your difference is not a defect, it is a deployment. The frequency you carry is tuned to problems ordinary patterns cannot solve. Your instincts gravitate toward gaps, places where courage is short, where integrity costs too much, where truth needs a spine. You don't do well pretending the emperor is clothed when he is not. You don't know how to celebrate what is counterfeit. This makes you inconvenient to systems that prefer silence, but essential to heaven's strategy. Kings need prophets. Teams need standard bearers. Families need a first one to break the curse. You are that one. You begin to see why certain rooms spit you out. Your presence disrupts unspoken agreements. Your conviction makes compromise cough. Your clarity puts a clock on confusion. You are not there to make anyone feel small, but your refusal to shrink exposes the smallness they've tolerated. Do not resent the pushback, measure it. Opposition often reveals assignment. The battles that keep finding you are hinting at the altars you are called to repair. There is a holy way to carry this difference without arrogance, without apology, without exhaustion. You do not need to invent an identity, you inherit one. You do not need to market your calling, you manifest it by being faithful. You need fewer announcements and more accuracy. Quiet excellence, clean motives, steady pace. That is how set-apart ones move. You do not need a crowd to be credible. Fruit is your credential, time is your ally. Let the word name you so you stop negotiating with lesser labels. The ancient words recorded in 1 Peter chapter 2, verse 9, "But you are a chosen generation, a royal priesthood, a holy nation, his own special people, that you may proclaim the praises of him who called you out of darkness into his marvelous light." Feel how that sentence fits you like armor that was measured to your shoulder. Chosen means selected with intent, not tolerated by chance. Royal means authority with responsibility, not dominance with ego. Holy means different on purpose, not distant without compassion. Special means owned by God, not owned by people's expectations. Because you are set apart, your boundaries are sacred. You say no to what dilutes you. You step back from agreements that lease your future for temporary relief. You stop auditioning for rooms you were sent to lead. You stop over-explaining decisions God already signed. You stop rescuing what refuses to repent. Compassion without wisdom breeds chaos. You carry both. You will be kind and clear, soft-hearted and steel-spined. Your yes will be rare and powerful. Your no will be gentle and immovable. Watch how this identity rearranges your calendar. Assignments rise, distractions fall. The right conversations find you. The wrong doors stop pretending to be right. You attract builders, not spectators, intercessors, not gossips, mentors, not manipulators. Your discernment sharpens. You sense when a connection is covenant or convenience, when a compliment is a leash, when an opportunity is really an obligation in disguise. You choose the long road where character outruns charisma, where depth outlasts noise. Being set apart does not isolate you. It authorizes you to gather the remnant. Others like you, different by design, misunderstood by the masses, will recognize the resonance in your voice. You will not compete, you will complete. Together, you become a signal flare for those still wandering. Proof that there is another way to live, consecrated, courageous, clean. Your life becomes a sign, not a spectacle, a lighthouse, not a spotlight. So, when you encounter the next gatekeeper, the next cold shoulder, the next door that closes with a polite smile, bless it and keep moving. Rejection is often redirection by a wiser hand. You do not force what is not yours. You do not beg where you are not seen. You do not contort to be tolerated. You stand as you are named, claimed, aimed. Set apart is not a sentence, it is ascending. And this Monday, you carry that name like a banner the wind cannot tear. Chosen one. Delay is polite, that's why it's dangerous. It smiles like later, pours you a second cup, and convinces you that thinking deeply is the same as moving faithfully. It hands you tidy lists and calls them progress, while the one brave step keeps waiting by the door. You know the feel of it, how a day dissolves into tabs and toggles, how a week fills with almosts, and after this call, how a month becomes a museum of well-meant intentions. But today you do not negotiate with later. Today you shorten the distance between instruction and action until the gap becomes a hinge and your life swings forward. You confront postponement in its disguises. Perfectionism is just fear in formal wear. Over-research is a corridor with no exit. Busyness without fruit is a treadmill, calories burned, ground unmoved. You stop asking to feel ready and start choosing to be reliable. Readiness grows in the steps. Confidence is a byproduct of continuity. Destiny is not dramatic. It is compounded obedience baked into the minutes most people ignore. Shrink the task until it fits in your hand. A proposal begins as a title line. A repair begins as a phone call. A reconciliation begins as a sentence drafted, not sent, then edited, then sent. Motion is a mentor. Momentum is its friend. You move the weight by inches, and the inches honor you with strength. Someday loses its accent when you touch the work today. Watch your language, it steers your feet. Trade, I should, for I will. Trade, I'll try, for I'm doing. Write the 3 outcomes that actually move the needle. Do the hardest one first, while morning is fresh and your courage is louder than your excuses. Set a 15-minute timer and begin not to finish. To puncture the wall. The wall always pops thinner than it looks from across the room. Train your body to agree with your spirit. Make the bed, drink the water, stand in light, breathe slow, open the document, silence the notifications you pay for with focus. You are not punishing yourself. You are partnering with your future. Your nervous system learns that starting is safe, that quitting the scroll is not starvation, that clarity is nourishing. Let a line of scripture be your metronome as you move, as was spoken to the saints in Ephesus. In the book of Ephesians, chapter 5, verse 16, make the most of every opportunity, because the days are evil. This is not anxiety, it is alignment. You are not hoarding moments, you are honoring them. Time is a treasure that multiplies in the hands of the faithful and leaks in the pockets of the distracted. Name the lies and disarm them with truth. If I start, I might fail. You might, but not starting guarantees it. If I go, they'll judge me. They might, but fruit will outlast their commentary. If I commit, I'll be trapped. No, you'll be anchored to growth instead of drift. You are not the sum of outcomes. You are the steward of obedience. God handles harvests. You handle seeds. Build small rails. Your day can run on top 3 outcomes. 90-second micro starts. 1 clean boundary sentence you can say without apology. A short review at day's end. What did I obey? What did I avoid? What did I learn? Excellence is ordinary, performed consistently. Brilliance is just accuracy over time. When resistance rises, lower your shoulders and keep your sentence short. Here is what I can do by noon. When a lure beckons, another article, another coffee, another pretend urgent message, ask, does this move my mission? If the answer is no, bless it and pass. Peace grows wherever you stop feeding panic. Do not mourn wasted time like a god you failed. Redeem it. Lost hours become teachers when you mine them for patterns and then edit the pattern. You are not behind, you are beginning. Mercy translates too late into start now for those who listen. And when you feel the tug to guard these gains, support the cadence that keeps you honest and moving. If this helped you shift from later to now, quietly like this, so courage stays visible in crowded feeds. Share it with one builder who is fighting the soft gravity of delay today. Your nudge might be their hinge. And subscribe to remain tethered to these Monday rhythms. So timely words meet you right where the gates open and the decisions matter most. Finally, choose one atomic action before you scroll away. Open what you closed. Send what you drafted. Schedule what you delayed. Or finish what you began. Let the room feel your decision. Let your calendar show the shape of your courage. Delay will still knock. It just won't find you home. You'll be out, doing the next faithful inch until inches become a path, and the path becomes a door, and the door finally opens because you arrived. On time, with clean hands and a steady heart. Chosen one. Instructions are arriving, sealed, time-stamped, tailor-fit, and weight-tested for your Monday. You are not walking in with hazy hope, you are stepping in with orders. Precision is protection. When God gives you the what, He also gives you the when and the how. Timing will matter as much as content, tone will matter as much as truth, posture will matter as much as plan. This is how you shift from wandering to wielding by refusing to improvise what heaven already scripted. Begin with the calendar. There is a window in your morning that carries unusual clarity. Guard it like a vault. No scrolling, no small talk, no scattered tasks. In that window, write the email you've delayed. Make the appointment you've avoided. Draft the outline that unlocks momentum. Speak slowly to the first person you meet. Let your words be lean and luminous, less convincing, more conveying. Your pace becomes a metronome for the room. You do not rush, you release. You do not chatter, you charge the air with meaning. Your first decision sets the day's alignment. Choose order over urgency. Clear your desk before you answer messages. Place the most stubborn task at the front of the line. Unfinished business drips noise. Finish it, and the noise dies. Do not let other people's last-minute chaos rent your focus. Compassion is not capitulation. You can care without letting a crisis colonize your schedule. When you must say no, do it softly and swiftly. When you must say yes, do it once and completely. Carry 3 sentences in your pocket, 1 for conflict, 1 for confusion, 1 for opportunity. For conflict, I honor you. Here is my boundary. For confusion, what result would make this a win? For opportunity, what is the timeline? Budget and authority. These are not scripts, they are steering wheels. Use them to turn conversations away from fog and toward fruit. You are not required to explain your discernment more than once. Accuracy is kindness, even when it stings. There will be a door today that looks right and feels wrong. Do not force it. If peace shrinks when you step toward it, step back. If peace expands when you walk away, keep walking. Your spirit is not indecisive, it is alert. Honor the alarm system inside you. Heaven will confirm what heaven commands, and it will do so without flattery or pressure, as the proverb assures all who listen. According to what is revealed in the book of Proverbs, chapter 3, verse 5 and 6, trust in the Lord with all your heart, and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge him, and he will make your paths straight. That is your marching cadence. Trust is the engine. Acknowledgement is the alignment. Straight paths are the output. You are not asked to understand every step, only to honor the one who orders them. Eat on purpose. Hydration is discipline disguised as kindness. Your body is a partner in your calling. Treat it like an ally. Stand where sunlight can touch your face for 3 deep breaths before the meeting that matters. Write your top 3 outcomes for the day on a single line. Not 10, 3. When those are done, the rest are extra. Excellence is not doing everything. It is doing the right things cleanly. Expect a test in the shape of an old pattern, a flirty distraction, a needless debate, a bargain dressed as favor. Smile. Bless. Decline. Your crown is too expensive to pawn for momentary relief. When you feel the tug to over-explain, choose one clear sentence and stop. When you feel the urge to delay, do 90 seconds of the task and let momentum take the wheel. Micro movements break macro resistance. You are carrying words today that will reroute someone else's storm. Say them gently. Once. Don't sermonize. Don't sell. Stand like a lighthouse still, bright, faithful. If tears come, let them come and keep moving. Emotion is an indicator, not a driver. After the key conversation, step outside if possible and breathe a prayer of gratitude. Gratitude seals breakthroughs that adrenaline tries to spill. Tonight, you will close your day with review, not regret. Ask 3 questions. What obedience did I honor? What weight did I lay down? What seed did I plant? Write the answers where tomorrow can see them. Small faithfuls become large landmarks. When chronicled, your future self will bless you for leaving tracks. And now, mark this moment with a simple sign that your will is aligned and your heart is awake. Comment 999. Not for luck. Not for superstition, because 9 speaks of birthing and completion. And you are completing delays and birthing decisions. Let the number be a public amen to private instructions you will trust. You will move. You will finish. Monday hears you coming, and the gates are already loosening on their hinges. You feel the tug at your ankles when you try to run threads tied to older versions of you. Humming with a music you once danced to without thinking. Counterfeits are polite. They smell like comfort and speak your native nostalgia. Soul ties are subtle. They braid themselves from repeated attention, unspoken vows, and the muscle memory of storms survived together. But you are not returning to the room that trained you to question your discernment. This is the hour you choose wholeness over habit, clean lines over blurred edges, covenant over convenience. Begin by naming what is real. A counterfeit opportunity flatters your hunger and forgets your assignment. A counterfeit relationship echoes your emptiness more than your purpose. A counterfeit mentor wants your loyalty more than your maturity. These are not villains, they are misalignments. Misalignment cannot be negotiated into alignment by effort or intention. It must be corrected by exit. You are allowed to choose truth even when truth hurts. You are allowed to close doors gently and mean it. You are allowed to be loyal to your calling above your craving for familiar voices. Soul ties form where attention lingers and agreements harden. I'll always be there. I'll fix it. If I say no, I'm unloving. Whispered often enough to sound like law. The breaking is surgical, not theatrical. You gather evidence without bitterness. Notice the energy drop after certain conversations. The fog that follows certain texts. The boundary erosion when that name lights your screen. You do not trial them, you testify to yourself. Then you gather courage. Some releases are quiet threads, muted, roots changed. An archive instead of a reply. Some require sentences, I honor our history. But my future requires distance. You do not manage their response, you steward your clarity. You cut ties spiritually first. Stand where your lungs can open and speak to your soul by name. Cancel vows made in fear. Replace them with heaven's language, I am free to obey. I steward my peace. I love without control. Forgive debts they cannot pay. Release apologies they may never make. You are not excusing harm, you are evicting it. Justice belongs to God, release belongs to you. Let a trumpet of scripture sound across this moment. Unmistakable and kind, the Spirit spoke through the Apostle in 2 Corinthians. Chapter 6, verse 17. Come out from among them and be separate, says the Lord. Touch no unclean thing, and I will receive you. Separation is not superiority, it is stewardship. Your oil has requirements. Your future has dietary restrictions. Your calling has allergies. You are not better than anyone. You are simply no longer bound. Expect pushback from outside and inside. Counterfeits stage encores a curated memory. A crisis designed to summon your rescuer reflex. A sudden I've changed with no fruit. Breathe. Wait for fruit. Not fireworks. Internally, withdrawal may ripple through your nervous system. Drama once taught your body that chaos was connection. Let boring become beautiful. Let quiet become quality. Stability is not emptiness. It is cleared space where real love can breathe. Practicality honors the process. Return what is not yours. Delete threads that reopen wounds. Unfollow without malice. Replace rituals where you used to linger in the loops of old stories. Walk for 5 minutes where you rehearsed injuries. Write 3 gratitudes where you chased validation. Complete 1 honest task. Invite 1 trusted intercessor to cover you while your heart relearns a clean rhythm, not to gossip, but to guard your gates. Know the distinction between reconciliation and re-entry. Reconciliation is peace and forgiveness. It can bloom across a river. Re-entry is access to your daily life. It requires time, counsel, fruit, and a word from God. A tender heart is not an open gate. Gates are for shepherds to manage. You are kind, and you are a gatekeeper. Watch how your discernment sharpens as ties loosen. Peace will start telling you the truth about people faster than charisma ever did. You will feel the difference between a covenant that stretches you and a connection that drains you. You will notice where your humor is safe, where your silence is honored, where your ambition is purified instead of exploited. The right people will not require you to shrink to stay. They will not punish your boundaries or confuse your clarity for cruelty. They will bring their own oil, carry their own corner, and bless your yes without trying to own it. When the final knot loosens, resist the reflex to fill the vacancy with noise. Let emptiness become altar. Pour attention back into your assignment and affection back into God. From that fullness, love becomes clean again, generous without strings, strong without performance, joyful without fear. You will remember the room you left and bless it, but you will not miss it. Light pours through the place where ties once strangled, and you lighter, taller, truer, finally, breathe like someone who belongs to freedom. Your steps change sound. Your yes gains weight. And Monday, watching, make space. You arrive at the gate that divides intention from impact. Gates are thresholds where words become weight, where thought becomes footprint, where the unseen makes itself measurable. In city stories of old, decisions were drafted at the gates, justice was weighed there, agreements were sealed there. Your Monday is no different. The gate is your first meeting, your first message, your first minute of quiet when the pulse wants to rush. Unarmored. You are a weather vane. Armored. You are a keeper. So you dress. Not for drama, but for duty. Truth fastens first, close to your center. It is not just facts, it is alignment with a person who does not bend to spin. When truth sits tight, your other pieces do not drift. Righteousness follows clean motive, clean method, not performance, not perfection, but integrity you could sign your name to in any light. Shame looks for hooks, righteousness gives it none. Peace laces to your steps. Peace is not sleepy, it is traction on uneven ground. In rooms that trade in hurry, you set a quieter tempo firm. Kind, steady. You do not slip into flattery or fight. You walk lanes others will later follow without bruising. Your yes holds shape. Your no breathes kindness. The floor under you learns your cadence and becomes less treacherous. Faith rises in front of you like a door you can duck behind when the sky flares. Doubts fly shaped like your inner voice. You test them by their assignment. Do they strip courage, blur boundaries, cheapen love? Then they are not from your shepherd. You lift the shield and let their fire go out against obedience. Faith is not denial. It is correct placement of trust away from timelines and into the one who owns time. Salvation settles over your mind. Not just a past rescue, a present helmet. It cools feverish forecasts and protects imagination from rehearsing harm. With that cover on, you can tell signal from static, order from noise. Your mind becomes a clean workshop again, not an echoing hall of anxious echoes. Finally, you receive the sword of the Spirit, not to flail, but to define. One accurate verse can clear a room faster than 10 clever arguments. You do not wield it to wound people, you use it to cut fog and name boundaries. Speak it brief and true, then stand. Authority requires less volume than you were told. Let the text that trained generations guide your stance. As the Apostle wrote to the Ephesians, chapter 6, verse 13, "Therefore put on the full armor of God, so that when the day of evil comes, you may be able to stand your ground. And after you have done everything, to stand." This is not costume, this is craft. Armor is for builders who expect pushback and refuse panic. Now, work the gate with strategic prayers, like signatures on a decree. Over your threshold, bless our coming and our going. Over your devices, tool, not leash. Over your calendar, order, not chaos. Over your body, strength for the assignment. Over your team, clarity with compassion. These sentences are not charms, they are consent to governance. Authority flows where agreement lives. Expect pressure to spike near the gate. Traffic jams happen before bridges, not after. You do not internalize the jam, you become the bridge. When conversation tilts toward accusation, you refuse the bait and ask for outcomes. When a task arrives swollen with vagueness, you carve it into steps with dates and owners. When fear tries to speed you, you lower your shoulders and shorten your sentence. Precision is how peace speaks. Guard the others who guard beside you. Translate the quiet one's thought into a usable line. Interrupt the subtle slander before it seeds. Return the meeting to mission when drift starts to decorate itself as brainstorming. You are not policing personalities. You are protecting conditions where good work can happen without bleeding morale. You also remain interruptible to wisdom. If a closed door resists without explanation and your peace shrinks as you push, you step back. If a plain door you ignored keeps shining in your peripheral vision, you circle back and knock. Obedience refines aim in real time. The gate is a teacher. When the hour ends, you hang each piece with gratitude. Truth held. Righteousness kept you clean. Peace gave grip. Faith intercepted flames. Salvation quieted forecasts. A single verse cut fog. You do not collapse, you conclude. Gates remember stewards who honor them. They swing easier next time. And as you turn from this threshold to the next, you realize the armor has become familiarity, not burden. It is not heavy, it is fitted. It moves when you move. The day does not feel smaller, it feels navigable. You did not chase enemies, you guarded entrances. You did not perform bravery, you practiced it one clean step. One guarded word, one held boundary at a time. The gate is behind you, but its discipline travels with you. And rooms ahead will be better because you arrived prepared to stand and act. Having done all, to keep standing. Your voice has been trained by many teachers' noise. Nostalgia, need, but now it is being tuned to obedience. Hearing is a holy craft. You do not chase goosebumps, you cultivate discernment. The Father is not difficult, the frequency is delicate. You quiet your interior, not to escape responsibility, but to hear the instructions that make responsibility fruitful. Distraction has rehearsed an entire language to you: urgent notifications, unresolved arguments, unending scrolls. You are switching dialects from static to signal, from commentary to command. Begin with stillness that isn't empty. You sit, breathe deep, and name where you are. I am here. I am listening. Your mind, like a faithful but overexcited dog, brings you everything: yesterday's email, tomorrow's bill, last year's conversation. You don't scold it, you leash it with gentleness. Not now. You trade multitasking for monotony on purpose, the kind of focused repetition that becomes mastery. 5 minutes of unsplintered presence becomes the doorway to clarity you once tried to buy with hours of worry. Next, you test impressions by their fruit. Spirit impressions move you toward courage, cleanup, confession, or construction. They rarely flatter, always fortify. You learn to ask, is this voice making me smaller or cleaner? Is it pushing me to hide or to step into light? Is it inflaming vanity or ordering my loves? Accusation sinks you with a verdict and no path forward. Conviction stings you with hope attached. You choose conviction every time because it comes with a hand that lifts. Then, speak back to the fog with scripture, not slogans. As Jesus himself declared in the Gospel of John, chapter 10, verse 27, "My sheep hear my voice. I know them, and they follow me." This is not permission to be reckless. It is permission to be responsive. You are known, and being known makes you bold. Sheep do not study every echo. They move at the shepherd's sentence. That is your model: fewer debates with darkness, more following the next clear step. You practice micro-obedience. When you sense, tidy the desk. You don't wait for thunder. You stack the papers. When you sense, apologize for that tone. You send the message before ego edits the moment. When you sense, prepare the outline. You open the document while the thought is warm. These small yeses thicken your discernment. Obedience is a muscle. Repetition makes it precise and strong. Soon the difference between impulse and instruction becomes obvious by feel, like a musician who can tune without a fork. Guard your words as conduits, not cannons. You refuse to narrate doom over your day. You retire sarcasm that stains your atmosphere. You speak clean sentences that plant outcomes. I will show up fully. I will not borrow trouble. I will give a clear yes or a clean no. Declarations are not magic. They are alignment tools. You are not trying to bend reality. You are bending your will toward what heaven already wants. Listen for assignment, not audience. Some words are for your journal, not your feed. Some are for the one person on the third row, not the whole room. Accuracy beats volume. Always. If you're tempted to overshare, ask, am I seeking accountability or applause? The shepherd's voice rarely traffics in spectacle. It loves precision and privacy. Then public fruit when roots are deep. Expect ambiguity, but do not idolize it. God often gives you enough light for the next step and the next step only. That's not a tease, it is training. It keeps you close. You walk in increments measured, faithful, unhurried so you don't outrun protection in the name of ambition. If you must choose between speed and clarity, choose clarity. If you must choose between feeling ready and being obedient, choose obedience. Readiness grows best on the far side of obedience anyway. When resistance rises, anchor your ear with practical rhythms. A short psalm at waking, a silent minute before each meeting, a 3-line review at day's end. What did I hear? How did I respond? What will I adjust? Patterns protect purpose. They also expose drift quickly, so you can correct in small angles instead of dramatic U-turns. Now, seal the moment with a simple covenant. In the comments type, I choose light. Not for trend, not for theater, for training. It is 3 words that remind your future self who leads your day. I assumes responsibility. Choose rejects delay disguised as discernment. Light names your allegiance, truth over spin, clarity over chaos, presence over panic. Write it once, then let your next act be its echo, one precise step that proves you heard and you will follow. You are not guessing your way through Monday, you are guided. Your ear is sharpening, your mouth is cleaning, your feet are learning the cadence of quick obedience. Keep the pace, let the shepherd set the route, and watch how doors recognize the voice that sent you and swing the right direction as you arrive. Opposition rarely announces itself with horns, it arrives as small frictions, sideways glances, and calendars that suddenly clog. But open doors often sit one breath beyond that headwind, and you are learning to move through gusts without surrendering your center. When resistance rises, you do not panic or posture, you read it. Some wins are warnings, some are workouts. You ask better questions. Is this no a boundary to honor or a bully to face? Is this delay protective or distracting? Wisdom wastes less energy than worry. You will meet 3 kinds of resistance today. The first is confusion, too many words around a simple matter. You answer with clarity. One sentence can trim a 20-minute tangle. Here is the result we're after. Here is what I can do by today. Here is what success looks like. The second is accusation, subtle or loud. It seeks to drag you into theater. You refuse the stage. You bless what can be blessed. Correct what must be corrected. And keep building. The third is fatigue, the invisible heaviness that tries to slow your feet. You honor your limits. Hydrate. Step into light. And pick one necessary inch to move. Fatigue loosens when momentum returns. Open doors do not flatter. They fit. They stretch courage, not integrity. They ask for structure, not spectacle. They respect your boundaries and refine your schedule. If a door requires you to dim or to hide, it is not yours. If a door makes you clean and clear, it usually is. Peace is your usher. Where peace expands, walk. Where peace shrinks, wait. Patience is not passivity, it is precision. Some battles are not yours. Some storms are simply weather passing through your field. You do not abandon the plow every time clouds gather. You plant, cover, and keep your eye on the task in front of you. When the wind is personal rumor, resistance to your presence, a sudden spike of hostility you measure, not mirror. Your tone stays low, your standards stay high. You do not forfeit authority by feeding on offense. Let a sentence older than your critics settle your stance. Let a sentence older than your critics Settle your stance. The voice of God thundered in the book of Exodus, chapter 14, verse 14. The Lord will fight for you. You need only be still. Still does not mean idle. It means anchored. It is the refusal to perform panic. The choice to keep your hands on the right work while heaven handles what only heaven can. You will also face inner opposition, old narratives that wake when new opportunities knock. You're not ready. What if you fail in public? What if success isolates you? Answer with fact and faith. Fact, you have prepared. And where you are green, you will learn quickly. Faith, you are sent and kept. What is for you will meet you at your pace of obedience. Replace the monologue with measured steps, a draft sent, a meeting set, a boundary spoken. Doing is a disinfectant for doubt. As you walk through doors, remember that favor multiplies what you tolerate. If you host clutter, favor multiplies workload without wisdom. If you host order, favor multiplies impact without chaos. Prune early. Simplify processes. Assign owners and dates. Keep receipts, financial and relational. Share credit. Shoulder blame wisely. And let excellence be quiet. Open doors are not stages, they're greenhouses. Protect what grows. Opposition will sometimes take the shape of your own hurry, anxiety, dressed as urgency. When your breathing climbs, lower your shoulders and shorten your sentence. Ask, what is the one clean move I can make in the next 5 minutes? Then make it. After, breathe gratitude before you re-engage. Gratitude is ballast. It keeps the ship from tipping when headlines or whispers try to tilt you. Notice the breadcrumbs of right doors, a conversation that ends with more clarity than it began, a leader who asks precise questions and honors honest boundaries, a timeline that challenges but doesn't punish human limits. Say yes without fanfare. Say no without flares. Both are worship when given to the right altar. If this word steadies your hands and you want others to find the same calm, respond in ways that keep the strength circulating without noise, like to keep courage visible in crowded feeds. Share with one builder facing headwinds today. And subscribe so these shields keep meeting you at the week's gates when they matter most. Not for hype, for health, for a cadence that protects focus and nurtures growth. You are not at the mercy of gossip, gusts, or gatekeepers. You are anchored, armored, and assigned. Weapons may form, they will fail. Doors will test, the right ones will open. Keep your pace clean, your heart light, your eyes up. The storm is not your story, the passage is. Walk through, measured, bright, unafraid. Provision does not wander into your life as luck. It arrives as a response to alignment. Favor is not a shortcut for the reckless. It is a roadway for those who steward well. You are not hustling the universe. You are partnering with order. Divine appointments often wear ordinary coats, an email sent at an exact minute. A problem that perfectly advertises your skill. A conversation that unlocks a path you could not see alone. You have asked for resource. Heaven is answering with stewardship. Resource without stewardship is a flood. Stewardship makes it a river that runs where it should. Begin with identity. You are royal, not reckless. Royalty does not scatter gold for spectacle. It assigns resources to mission. You count costs without fear. Invest without panic. Save without stinginess. Give without guilt. Money is not a master. It is a servant that takes clear instructions. You will not apologize for prosperity earned through purpose, neither will you worship the sensation of having. You practice fluency in both abundance and lean seasons because your supply line is not tied to applause or trends. Your king funds what he commands. Favor often appears as responsibility disguised as opportunity. A larger contract requires clearer systems. A promotion asks for stronger boundaries. A platform demands deeper inner scaffolding. Do not resent the wait. Read it. God is not baiting you toward burnout. He is adding muscle so the next door does not crush you. Ask wiser questions. What must be simplified to carry this well? Which process leaks? Who needs training? Trust or release. Favor magnifies what you tolerate, excellence or clutter, so prune early. Plan like a partner. A budget is not unbelief. It is a vow to steward. Track where attention and money go. Attention is your first currency. Money, your second. Build margin time buffers. Cash buffers. Energy buffers. Scarcity thrives in chaos. Order evicts it. Excellence is a stewardship habit, not a sporadic sprint. Clean process lengthens favor's lifespan. Maintenance is ministry. Generosity is your crown and your key. You give strategically, first to honor God, next to bless people, then to seed future work. You sow into good soil, not just visible need. You back builders, not mere talkers. Joy is the oxygen of your giving. You do not announce every gift. Hidden generosity often carries heaviest glory. The reward is not flattery, it is flow. Closed fists cannot receive. Discern counterfeit provision. Not every yes is supply, some are leashes. If a deal fogs your peace, taxes your integrity, or asks you to dim your clarity, the price is too high. True favor respects boundaries and invites truth into the contract. Counterfeit favor hurries signatures and demands secrecy. You are in no rush. You read the fine print and ask dull, necessary questions. Wisdom can feel unromantic in the moment. It saves months of repair later. Train your eyes for small doors. Tiny efficiencies become $1,000 decisions over time, a better invoice template. A calendar rhythm that protects deep work. A second draft that becomes the remembered one. Excellence compounds like interest. You are not chasing miracles while neglecting maintenance. You mend the net so the boat won't sink when the fish finally come. Relationships steward resource as much as spreadsheets do. Seek counsel before agreements, not after disasters. Invite a seasoned voice to walk the terrain with you, someone who can say not yet or raise your price without losing access. Feedback is not insult, it's insurance. Refuse to subcontract your discernment to flattery. Those who truly value you will honor scope, timelines, and rest. Your yes grows stronger, guarded by wise no's. Hold your plans with readiness, not rigidity. Providence sometimes arrives through a stranger's sentence, or a last-minute reroute that leads to a better room. Flex without losing form. The same God who ordains seed time and harvest also surprises sowers with sudden rain. Anchor it all in a promise that outlasts markets. The ancient words recorded in 2 Corinthians, chapter 9, verse 8. And God is able to make all grace abound to you, so that in all things, at all times, having all that you need, you will abound in every good work. Read it as architecture, grace as supply. abounding as atmosphere, good work as aim. Provision is not personality, it is a promise tied to purpose. So you move like a steward king, invoices timely, language clear, patience visible, payments prompt, borrowed tools returned better than received. You keep receipts and keep your word. You share credit freely and shoulder blame carefully. You measure twice and cut once. You build structures that can hold tomorrow's weight without breaking today's peace. Here is the rhythm you will learn to love. Obedience draws favor. Favor tests stewardship. Stewardship expands capacity. Capacity hosts greater obedience. The cycle is not stressful, it is sanctified. You will eat diligence's fruit without kneeling to grind. You will walk through open doors without losing your soul in hallways. And when Monday writes its line under your name, it will read, entrusted, enlarged, faithful with favor, flowing like a river because you learn to build its banks. Chosen one. The crown does not arrive as glitter, it arrives as gravity. You feel it in the way your posture changes, less frantic, more anchored. You are not auditioning anymore, you are answering. Mandate is the sentence heaven writes on your spine. The reason your no grows as holy as your yes. The reason your footsteps sound like decisions, not guesses. Authority is not volume, it is validity, permission from God to speak into storms and see them lose their script. Today, you step into that triad, fully crown on your head, mandate in your chest, authority in your mouth, identity first. You do not decorate identity with achievements, you derive achievements from identity. You are beloved before you are busy, chosen before you are useful, seated before you are sent. Seated places, silence, scrambling. When you know where you sit, you know how to stand. This ends the exhausting cycle of seeking validation from rooms that cannot afford your worth. You stop begging doors to open. You start walking as the one who carries keys. Mandate clarifies motion. Not every need is your assignment. Not every invitation is your stage. You will disappoint expectations that do not match your orders, and that is faithfulness, not failure. Your calendar becomes an altar where you lay down the urge to be everywhere and pick up the call to be accurate here. You bless other lanes without wandering into them. You bless other fires without borrowing their smoke. Every boundary you keep makes your voice cleaner, your presence lighter, and your impact heavier where it counts. Authority flows through alignment. You cannot command what you secretly admire or excuse. Your authority is sharp because your private life is clean. Your motives are simple. Your confession is quick, where others perform power. You practice it forgiving without fanfare, correcting without contempt, building without bragging. You carry a steadiness that turns atmospheres. People will not always know why they breathe easier around you. It is because your crown calms rooms that worship chaos. Listen to the door language over your life, as the Lord announces to his church. In the book of Revelation, chapter 3, verse 8, see, I have set before you an open door which no one can shut. For you have a little strength, yet you have kept my word, and have not denied my name. The open door is not a dare, it is a decree. It does not flatter capacity, it rewards fidelity. Little strength is not an insult, it is the condition where grace shows off. Keeping the word when it felt costly has created a corridor where your feet will find favor. Here is how you move under coronation. Speak few words. All true. Let your yes be whole and your no be healing. When confronted with fog, ask better questions. What is the mission? What does love require? Where does my authority begin and end? In this moment, authority is surgical. It knows where to cut and when to close. You will be trusted to shut down gossip with a single sentence and to revive courage with a single glance. You will name elephants gently and move them firmly. You will refuse triangulation and model direct honor. Expect counterfeits to present crowns that glitter but grind, titles without function, platforms without process, urgency without clarity. Smile, bless, decline. Counterfeit authority demands audience. True authority serves assignment. Counterfeits hurry you into rooms your character has not furnished. True doors open as your inner house gets ordered. Stay with the discipline that made you dangerous to darkness. Early honesty, quiet prayer, clean work, quick repentance, generous credit, consistent finish. You will feel the mantle in mundane places, choosing silence over clapback, drafting the plan when everyone wants to pontificate, staying after to tidy what excellence requires. Authority doesn't always look heroic. Often it looks like reliability. You do not need to advertise impact. Impact is loud without noise. Fruit speaks in fluent evidence. Time translates it for the slow to hear. Guard your crown from corrosion, pride, offense, and fatigue. Pride makes you brittle. Offense makes you blind. Fatigue makes you sloppy. Humility will oil the hinges of your influence. Forgiveness will clear your sightlines. Rest will make your decisions accurate. You cannot swing a heavy sword with a trembling hand. Nourish your body, your mind, your soul. Sacred pace is part of sacred power. Finally, seal this coronation with a public sign that your heart agrees with heaven's decree. Comment 7,777. Not superstition, a symbol. 4 sevens for completeness multiplied. For a crown established in maturity. For a mandate confirmed in rhythm. For authority anchored in rest. Let that number be your quiet banner. You will act from identity, serve from mandate, and speak from authority. Not louder, truer, not faster, straighter. This is how kings in training become kings in truth, by wearing responsibility like a robe and kindness like a crest. As they walk through doors no hand can shut. You stand where mercy thins into mandate, a narrow edge where the breeze is cool and the ground is holy. For a long time, mercy has cushioned you, softening falls, intercepting traps, slowing the speed of consequences so you could hear again. Mercy is not lenience, it is leverage, a window of time to choose life while light still fills the room. You feel the shift now. Warnings, stop being whispers and step forward as witnesses, not to shame you, but to save you from an outcome your spirit cannot afford. Holy fear arrives like a cleansing rain. It does not crush, it clears. It washes the glass so you can see what your cleverness tried to blur. You sense the difference between being tempted and being trained, between negotiation and obedience. Some habits are not quirks, they are altars. Some jokes are not harmless, they are agreements with old pain. Some delays are not prudence, they are rehearsals for disobedience. You do not dramatize this, you simply admit it. And the admission opens a door. Let a sentence from wisdom cut clean and kind through the fog. according to what is revealed in the book of Proverbs. Chapter 28, verse 13, "Whoever conceals their sins does not prosper, but the one who confesses and renounces them finds mercy." Concealment is expensive. It charges interest in peace and focus. Confession is not a courtroom humiliation, it is a key. Renouncing is not a performance, it is the moment your hands stop feeding the very thing that keeps biting you. You can name the edges you flirted with, the DM that sounded like affirmation but felt like erosion, the purchase you justified with, "I deserve it," while your spirit winced, the small lie that kept a shaky image from collapsing, the familiar escape that promised relief and delivered regret. Mercy has kept the harvest from arriving, but seed is faithful. Better to burn that field now than to plead with the reaper later. Better to bruise pride today than to bankrupt peace tomorrow. Obedience here will be surgical, quick, precise, unapologetic. You end what God never started, even if your voice trembles while you say it. You delete the archive you kept, just in case. You write the honest email that closes a door you were never called to hold open. You return what is not yours. Cancel what drains courage. Change the route that passes the old altar. You do not ask for applause. You ask for alignment. Expect grief on the other side of decision. Grief is not proof you chose wrongly. It is proof you loved something that cannot come with you. Give it a chair for a little while. Let it say what it needs to say. Then escort it out. In its place grows a different weather, quiet joy that doesn't depend on drama. Strength that doesn't need an audience. Attention that no longer splinters under the weight of secrets. Guard yourself from two ditches, despair and presumption. Despair hisses, "You've gone too far. Why try?" Presumption shrugs, "God will always bail me out." Why change? Holiness stands between them and offers a better sentence, "Because you are loved." You are warned because you are warned. You can choose. Conviction is evidence that the door is still open. If the light stings, it is only because eyes are adjusting. Practice small, repeatable protections while the new path roots. Keep a brief confession rhythm honest, undramatic, daily. Replace late-night loops with plain prayers and a boundary on your screen. Put a friend's name beside the pressure points. Send a 2-line report when the hour is hard. Fast from the soundtrack that romanticizes your old escapes. Feed yourself the ordinary mercy's water. Sleep, sunlight, work done on time. Simple obedience is stronger than spectacular intentions. Pay attention to your body's signals. Shame keeps shoulders high and breath shallow. Truth lowers both. If you feel the old adrenaline of secrecy, stop and ask, "What am I hiding? What would the clean version of this moment do?" Then do that quickly. Your nervous system will relearn that safety and honesty are the same road. You will be tempted to over-explain. Don't. Explanation can become a leash people yank when they miss the version of you that enabled them. Instead, speak one clear sentence. Keep one clean boundary. And walk. Fruit will do the long talking. Time will close the argument you do not need to open. Stand here and notice what has already changed. The air is lighter. The map is simpler. The cliff is behind you instead of underfoot. Mercy did not vanish. It shifted its shape from cushioning disobedience to empowering obedience. You step away from the edge not because you fear heights, but because you refuse to flirt with falls. The narrow road stretches ahead, and somehow it feels wide. Room to breathe, room to build, room to become who obedience has been trying to introduce you to all along. You do not walk this road alone. Assignment may be singular, but endurance is communal. After holy fear sobers your steps. Heaven brings you into rooms where your name sounds lighter and truer, because it is being spoken by those who love your future more than their access. These are not crowds, these are keepers. They do not audition you, manage you, or market you. They cover you. You recognize them by what happens to your peace in their presence. It expands. Discernment sharpens. Humor returns. Courage sits up straighter. You are not being handled, you are being held. Remnant companions are rare because they are refined. They have survived their own siftings and learned to prefer fruit over frenzy. They ask better questions. How is your soul? Where are you tempted to drift? What obedience is next? They do not confuse silence with distance or correction with rejection. They give you language when fog tries to spread, and a mirror when blind spots threaten to grow teeth. With them, you stop rehearsing your value and start remembering your vows. Covenant reorganizes your calendar. Fewer gatherings, deeper presence, fewer compliments, truer counsel. You learn the grammar of safe people, truth without theatrics, loyalty without leash, humor without harm, curiosity without intrusion. The air is breathable because motives are clean. They celebrate your lane without trying to merge into it. You bless theirs without borrowing their smoke. Roles are clear, each keeps their corner, and the house stands stronger. Covering begins with clarity. You articulate your assignment plainly, not as a brand pitch, but as a promise you intend to keep. You confess where you tend to wander and invite guardrails in those places. In turn, they hand you their maps and their pressure points. Boundaries remain intact. Borders meet for shared defense. You establish simple rhythms that make help normal, a weekly check-in with 3 questions. What did you obey? Where were you tempted? What do you need? This is not surveillance. It is shepherding each other away from cliffs and toward fields. Prayer with the remnant is different. It wears work boots. It names spirits without drama, breaks agreements without bargaining, and crowns truth without shouting. A few clean sentences, and the atmosphere tilts. Panic loses purchase. Rooms feel lighter. Timelines stop pulsing with crisis. Their authority came from secret places. They don't borrow thunder from a stage. They are lighthouses, not spotlights. You swap swords as you go, templates, checklists, phrases that cost you time so others don't pay that tuition. The clause that protected your contract becomes a brother's safeguard. The sentence that kept your boundary becomes a sister's strength. Testimonies are not trophies, they are training. Failure is not a grave, it is a class the whole table graduates from. Because shame is not invited to teach. Let wisdom set the center line of this bond, according to what is revealed in the book of Proverbs, chapter 27, verse 17. Iron sharpens iron, so one person sharpens another. Sharpening is not sparks for spectacle, it is edges restored for purpose. You feel it, conversations that sand down dullness, glances that steady a shaking hand, laughter that oil hinges rust tried to seize. You will be tested here, pressure revealing metal, prosperity revealing motive. Watch who stays when you have nothing to offer but truth. Watch who guards your absence as carefully as your presence. Watch who can say not yet without shrinking their love. These are your people. Honor others kindly, but do not hand them keys. Build light structures that outlast moods, a shared note for intercession targets. A simple protocol. For slander, we go to the person, not around them. A plan for silence, who checks on whom and when. A rotation of practical care when someone's week bends heavy. Love takes shape when logistics serve it. Rest is part of the plan, meals that are not meetings. Walks without agenda. Songs without performance. Joy is a fortress. Celebrate small completions, not just big crowns. When grief arrives, and it will, you do not outsource comfort. You show up with soup and silence, with spreadsheets and prayer, with babysitting and blessing. No one diagnoses without permission. No one rushes the ache. You keep vigil until hope returns, and then rise together. This is how remnant love walks, soft around wounds, firm around lies, stubborn around promises. The byproduct is courage that feels owned, not rented. Not because you became superhuman, but because you stopped pretending you needed to be. You stand straighter, knowing your name is prayed. Your lane is protected, and your blind spots are not booby traps. Isolation was a tax. Covering is a credit. And as Monday's gates open, you do not enter as a lone hero, but as braided strength, one heart. Many hands hard to push over, harder to break. Night thins. The hour tastes like metal and mint new air. Old battles. You stand in that pre-dawn window where choices feel louder than crowds, where a whisper from heaven can outweigh a week of opinions. This is the final stand before Monday. Not a performance, not a pep rally, an audit. You spread your heart on the table like documents to be signed, motives, margins, meetings, boundaries. You are not looking for more noise. You are looking for clean yeses and holy noes. Your spirit knows the difference. So does Monday. You begin with inventory. What must be finished before noon? What is pretending to be urgent but is only loud? Which conversations require courage? And which require blessed silence? Your pen becomes a scalpel, cutting drama away from duty. You are not trying to be everywhere. You are choosing to be exact where you are sent. You will give yourself the gift of clarity, 3 outcomes for the day, written plainly. When the fog rises, you will return to that line and breathe. You check your armor by habit, not hype truth around the core. Righteousness guarding the chest, peace laced to your feet, faith raised like a door, salvation cooling the mind, the Spirit's word sharp in hand. You don't wait for threat to get dressed. You do what professionals do. You prepare, then you proceed. If anxiety taps your shoulder, you answer with alignment instead of apology. There will be pressure. Yes, let it polish, not pierce. You clear your space, desk wiped, phone face down, water poured, window cracked for light. You pre-decide your tone, measured, bright, uncluttered. You do not owe anyone panic. You gather your phrases for the day like tools laid out on a bench. Here's what I can do. That won't work for me. What does success look like here? With these, you turn friction into forward motion. The shadows try a last negotiation, old fantasies dressed as opportunities, old habits asking for old time's sake, old fears promising protection if you'll only stay small. You smile at the memories and choose the mandate. You're not angry with your past, you're simply aligned with your future. Growth is not disrespect, it's obedience. Let strength settle through you with a sentence you can stand on. We are reminded through the writings of David in the Psalms. Chapter 27, verse 14. Wait for the Lord, be strong and take heart. Wait for the Lord. This is not permission to stall, it is command to anchor. Wait does not mean idleness, it means posture alert. Steady, obedient to the next instruction, not the next impulse. Strength is a stance before it is a shout. Courage is a rhythm before it is a roar. You run the last checklist, boundaries set, calendar blocked, lunch packed like a kindness to your future self. You text one necessary clarity. You draft the hard sentence and let it stay simple. You move your body, stretch, breathe. One slow walk down the hall to remind your nervous system it is safe. You pray in clean syllables, order my steps, guard my heart, fill my mouth. No theatrics. Authority loves the plain truth. And beneath it all, gratitude hums for the nights that taught you watchfulness, for the delays that trained your discipline, for the remnant who stands behind your name, for the doors you will honor by how you walk through them. Gratitude is ballast. It keeps your boat from tipping when the wind shifts. Here, at the line, you choose tone over tension. You will meet conflict with low shoulders and high standards. You will meet opportunity with measured excitement and honest math. You will meet distraction with a smile and a turn of the face. You will choose not to narrate doom over your day. You will choose sentences that plant outcomes. You will choose to be the calmest person in your room, not because you never tremble, but because you know where you stand. If this word steadies your hands, pass the steadiness forward in simple ways that also keep you tethered to this cadence, like to keep this message circling the ones who need a final hour spine. Share it with a builder facing their own dawn. And subscribe so this quiet armor keeps meeting you right where gates open. And then, make your agreement visible in one clear line beneath this post. Comment, I hear you. Not for show, for sealing. 3 words that pin your will to obedience. I, ownership. Here, attention. You, not the pressure. Not the panic. The shepherd. Write it once. And then let your feet echo it. Let your schedule echo it. Let your boundaries, your replies, your pace echo it. This is your final stand, not a cliffhanger. A conclusion. When the sun clocks in, you're already working your orders. Dignified and decided. Monday meets you ready. And history takes notes. The door clicks behind you and the day lifts its head. You don't dramatize the moment, you dignify it with follow-through. Your shoes sound different on the floor, measured, awake. Before you touch a task, you touch your posture, shoulders low, jaw loose, breath even. You are not bracing for impact, you are aligning for flow. The plan you wrote at dawn isn't theory anymore. It is choreography, and you're on beat. You open the first file without wandering to the second. Precision is respect. You scan for the one sentence that carries the load, the one number that could leak, the one decision that frees 3 others. You choose clarity over cleverness, utility over applause, a correction here, a cleaner verb there, an assumption replaced with a date and a name. Send. Not with a flourish, just a finished line that makes other people's work easier. A phone lights with a conversation you used to delay. You prepare your 3 rails, the boundary, the aim, the next step. When the call begins, you refuse the quicksand of old scripts. No apology for being clear, no theatre to prove you're kind. You let your tone do the work, calm, exact. The pause on the other end stretches, then breaks. Agreement, then relief. You bless the future with one tidy summary and hang up. A knot unties somewhere behind your ribs. Mid-morning is where drift used to start. Not today. You clear 10 minutes to walk your perimeter threshold. Desk, device, door. You choose sentences that consecrate without spectacle. Peace in, peace out. Tool, not leash. Order in, delay out. Clarity over clamor. These are not charms, they're consent. The room obeys the name you put on it. Your pulse slows to something sustainable. A meeting awaits the sort that once swallowed an hour and spat out fog. You bring a gentle edge. What is the win? Who owns what by when? What gets cut to make room for this? The questions extract the work from the drama. Diffuse praise. Focused assignments. Timelines that tell the truth. You end on time not because you rushed, but because you refused drift. People leave lighter, not because you carried them, but because you gave the task back its shape. You return to your list and find the third outcome looking taller than you remember. You do not narrate doom. You set a timer and do the first faithful inch. 5 minutes becomes 8. 8 becomes 15. Momentum is shy at first, then loyal. While you move, the reply you needed for outcome 1 lands, clean approval. Better terms, a date you can live with. You nod to the quiet partnership between obedience and favor and keep your hands on the plow. Let a working creed settle into your bones as you move from item to item. As the apostle instructs in Colossians, chapter 3, verse 23, whatever you do, work at it with all your heart, as working for the Lord, not for human masters. This is not an excuse to grind, it is permission to work from dignity. Your effort is worship. Your excellence is love with sleeves rolled up. Audience is simplified. Anxiety loses leverage. A hiccup hits someone else's emergency, tries to rent your attention. You triage in 2 sentences. Offer a resource and resist rescue. Compassion flows, codependency doesn't. You do not take what is not yours. You also do not ignore what you can repair in 30 seconds. Boundary and kindness share the same spine. You check the atmosphere of your inner room as carefully as the outer. If agitation rises, you step to light. Inhale for 4. Exhale for 6. And let your gaze find a fixed point. Your nervous system cues that you are safe. Back to the work. But now, with steadier hands. The day mirrors your cadence. Conversations shorten. Emails clarify. Small storms pass because you refuse to stand under them. Near noon, you audit without judgment. Outcome 1 done and documented. Outcome 2 delivered with edges. Outcome 3 halfway and scheduled to finish. You capture the learnings before they evaporate. Start with the hardest task. Ask fewer, better questions. Write while the idea is warm. Decide before the room gets loud. You label the next step so your afternoon inherits momentum instead of mystery. You close the morning the way you opened it, present, clean, decisive, no victory lap. no self-lecture. Just a brief thanksgiving under your breath and a neat desk for the person you will be in an hour. You did not outrun trouble, you out-ordered it. You did not overpower rooms, you clarified them. History did not shout, it accrued email by email, sentence by sentence, choice by choice, until Monday changed its tone because you refused to change yours. The threshold is behind you, the path is under you, and the day, now trained, walks with you instead of against you. You move through the late morning corridor with the steadiness of someone who has already decided who they are. The clatter of keyboards, the drip of coffee, the shuffle of meetings, ordinary textures become instruments in a symphony you now conduct with clean cues. You are not chasing significance, you are practicing faithfulness until the room itself agrees. Small obediences, stacked like bricks, have raised a quiet architecture around you, clear boundaries, timely yeses, merciful noes, conversations that land on truth as gently as a hand on a shoulder. A signature waits. You read each line without hurry and without hunger, lips moving silently over the clauses that matter. Where ambiguity once seduced you with its flattering fog, you now insist on daylight. You add a date, name an owner, and remove a sentence that could become a future snare. Ink dries like a promise. No fanfare, just a future you won't have to rescue later. You send the document back with a note so spare and kind it disarms the reflex to negotiate what is already settled. A hallway encounter tries to summon your old self, the fixer, the appeaser, the one who could be baited into solving what never belonged to you. You smile, listen fully, and answer with a resource instead of rescue, a link, a contact, a precise question that hands responsibility back to the right hands. The air around your name gains weight in the best way, dependable, not dependent, present, not porous. You sit to draft the sentence that sets the tone for an afternoon room. Versions of it used to take hours. Now it arrives in 3 lines. All muscle, no fat. You delete the flourish and keep the clarity. The send key is no longer a cliff. It is a bridge. On the other side of that bridge, the atmosphere will change for people who didn't know how badly they needed someone to go first in telling the truth without drawing blood. A notification pings permission you asked for at dawn. Approved better terms than expected. Timeline that honors human limits. Trust extended in the direction of your integrity. You do not let relief turn into self-congratulation. You let it become stewardship. When favor opens a door, you do not sprint or strut. You straighten papers, assign tasks, and establish a rhythm that will protect what just arrived. You calendar what must be done today and bless what can belong to tomorrow. The future breathes. Let an enduring line lace itself through this hour and tighten your stance. The ancient words recorded in 1 Corinthians, chapter 15, verse 58. Therefore, my beloved brothers and sisters, be steadfast, immovable, always abounding in the work of the Lord, knowing that your labor in the Lord is not in vain. Steadfast is a spine, not a scowl. Immovable is a heart anchored, not a jaw clenched. Abounding is not frenzy, it is fullness. Work done with love's quiet precision. Not in vain is the verdict you no longer chase from room to room. It is the name stamped on faithful labor from the beginning. Someone brings a complication that could become a crisis if baptized in panic. You lower your shoulders, shorten your sentence, and ask for the outcome that defines a win. 2 options. 1 boundary. A clear next step. The temperature drops. The problem shrinks to its actual size. You return to your desk and write down the lesson before it evaporates. Clarity is a kindness. Rush is a liar. Order is mercy in work clothes. At the edge of noon, the room that once intimidated you opens like a hand. You enter with the lightness of a person who has nothing to prove and everything to steward. The conversation lands where it should. The faces soften. The calendar lines that follow are cleaner than the ones that came before. You did not overpower the moment, you outordered it. You did not dominate the room, you dignified it. This is how history hides beneath clocks. Inside email threads. Under the quiet click of a signature that saved a season from needless storms. You pause by a window and let the view remind you the city keeps moving. The clouds keep forming. The world keeps rushing. You are not rushing. You are aligned. Your yes holds. Your no heals. Your hands have learned the feel of the plow and the wisdom to lift them when the row is finished. Somewhere, an earlier version of you is proud, somewhere farther. A future version is grateful. Between them stands this hour, steady and simple and sacred. When you turn back to the work, it turns toward you. The list is shorter, the path clearer. The next step, honest. Monday has changed its tone. Not because it bent to your will, but because your will bent to right order. You breathe, you bless, you build, and the day, recognizing a faithful steward, becomes a partner instead of a puzzle history recorded in quiet ink, glory carried in ordinary sleeves. Chosen one, take a breath and look at what you just walked through. Not hype habits, not noise, nuance. You named the hidden battles, cut the quiet counterfeits, fitted your armor, trained your ear. Read the winds at the gate, honored favor with stewardship. Let holy fear clean your edges, found the remnant who covers your blind spots. Wore your crown as responsibility, not decoration, and turned a Monday into a milestone by stacking small obediences until they sounded like a symphony. If this met you where you needed strength, let's ripple that strength outward quietly, cleanly, on purpose. A simple like is more than a button, it's a lighthouse flash in crowded waters. It tells the algorithm, there's peace here. Bring others. A heartfelt share is a modern-day introduction. You're placing courage in someone's path at the minute they're tempted to fold. And a quiet subscribe keeps you tethered to this cadence, so the next word arrives right when the week turns, and decisions matter more than moods. None of this is for hype. All of it is for health, so the same calm that steadied you can find the next builder. Parent, student, leader at their own gate. Add your voice below in the comments as a seal and a breadcrumb for others. Write one short line that tells the truth of today. Sent the email. Close the door. Peace held. Clarity won. If you prefer a simple anchor, type I am aligned 4 syllables that turn momentum into memory. Your sentence might be the exact lantern someone needs to walk the next 10 feet without fear. If you've carried something from this space that you don't want to lose, an insight, a rhythm, a phrase you'll tape to your monitor press like, share this with one person who came to mind while reading, and subscribe so we can keep building this steady table together. No fireworks, just fidelity. The world is already loud, let's be precise. You don't owe anyone panic. You owe your future steady hands and clean words. Keep your pace, 3 outcomes. 1. Brave inch. Gratitude as ballast. Keep your posture shoulders low. Standards high. Keep your practice boundaries that bless. Sentences that plant outcomes. Rest, that is strategy. And when you return here, bring your testimony in a line or two. We will collect them like seeds and plant them where others can see what faithful looks like at human scale. Like, share, comment your seal. Subscribe, then go do the next right inch with a quiet spine. History isn't distant, it's daily. And you, God's chosen one, are writing it clean,